Okay, so here's an introduction to the geoprocessing lab with the network routing piece. So we're going to start with an area of interest down in western Utah, and then I'll kind of walk you through all the different data pieces just really briefly. You will have land ownership data to deal with. Not a big deal. Focus on the agency field, and here I've symbolized it with everything in kind of a gray shade, with the BLM, which is the stuff we're interested in yellow, just so you can kind of see the extent over our area of interest. You've got some municipal boundary data to work with. Not a big deal. It doesn't intersect a lot with what we're working with. You've got a road network data set, and I've clipped this down because it's an absolutely enormous and complicated data set. It took me about 15 minutes just to do the clip, which is pretty crazy. Actually, it might have been longer. Writing the output took forever. So I want to show you where I got that, though. On the Utah mapping portal, going into the data section, down under transportation, what is that? Let me try reloading that page. There we go. There are different options for roads, but I used this street network analysis, which is a data set that the mapping portal has put together because building these network layers is a pretty intensive step in and of itself. So they've already pulled it together for us. It's smart data that includes things like whether a road line is an overpass, whether you can make a turn on and off a street, whether intersections are true intersections, or whether you could leave one road to another. One-way roads, directionality, that's all built in here. So it's smarter than a regular polyline data set. And I went ahead and downloaded the whole network analysis layer, which gave me a lot to work with, and I just kind of clipped it down to the junctions and the street network itself. Okay, just so you know where that came from and where you would download it yourself if you wanted to. Let's see here. The BLM field offices, you're going to extract these yourself. Great, we have a hang up. Okay, there they are. This is the one that we're going to be working with, so you'll need to isolate this and include it at the end. I'll talk through that in a second. So in the area of interest, the first thing you're going to do is generate a bunch of random points. They could pop up anywhere, but they're going to be constrained within this area of interest polygon. And you'll generate 1,000 of them so that we can kind of whittle it down from there, and you'll get down to your final 10. So the first thing you're going to do is run an intersect or some kind of overlay with the BLM land, which is going to narrow it down a little bit. Then you're going to determine site locations that are within 1 kilometer of a road, I think maybe 500 meters, but not within something like 100 meters. So you'll kind of do a dual layered select by location there and whittle them down a little bit further. Wow, this is slow today. And then the next step, I ran all in one, so I don't have an intermediary, but I clipped out anything that was in the distance of the municipality and also selected the final 10 all at the same time. So the large black circles here, or points, are my final 10 locations that meet all of the rules for the study site areas. And yours will be in different locations, so that's a good thing. They're supposed to be random. And then finally, in the attribute table here, we've got everything that we need, but we need to include the field office. And so you'll walk through that step of actually merging in your field office points so that we can include that in our route analysis. And so the network analysis tools, actually, let me leave these on, they're pretty incredible. You'll find them under the analysis tab. There's a network analysis. You'll click that, and then we're looking for the route tool. And when you click on it, it starts a new route layer, or it's called an analysis layer, but it's actually a set of layers. This will pop up. They're all empty because you haven't actually calculated the route yet. And the first thing you need to do is add the stops. These are your stops here. So you're going to be calculating the most efficient route between these different site locations using the road network to determine what the most efficient order will be for the field crew. So the first thing you need to do, like I said, is add the stops, and you need to activate the route tools by clicking on the route tab. It's highlighted for you, but it doesn't automatically open it, and then you click the import stops button. And it's just a regular tool. It'll ask you to add your stops, which are these guys here, including this, and the rest will go down in history as your calculation. So just to show you that there are different outcomes depending on how you set up the travel settings and how you organize the stops themselves. I'm going to have you build an attribute that ranks them so that you can use the field office as both your start and stop location, because that's where your field crew will be starting and stopping from. So I've kind of just experimented and ran it a few different ways, and you will be doing the same thing. So that is the route tool, and then you can show directions at the very end. Oh yeah, you do have to have some active routes just having been run. But here's my show directions for the Route 6 that I did. So it's got directions in here starting at the Fillmore field office, specific instructions, and total drive time and total distance for my route. So everyone will be different. You'll grab a screenshot of this and a screenshot of your routes like this, very cleanly displayed. Be very judicious about what you decide to show as a base layer, how much of the process that you want to show. Remember, you're working to demonstrate to me that you understand the process. So be thoughtful about what layers you're including in your screenshots, including scale, extent, and cropping. You know, I don't need a screenshot of your entire desktop. I want to be able to focus on, you know, the product, but I also need enough supporting information to know what's what. So just give it a little bit of thought. All right, questions, let me know.